So this is a 2024 Tesla Model Y, and in this video I'm going to show you how you connect up wired games controllers to the car. So I was struggling to get these to work with the car, and I watched various YouTube videos, and the problem is Tesla have changed the way you connect wired controllers to the cars. So these newer cars work a little bit different. And because I'd come from a Tesla Model S where these work perfectly fine, I was sort of trying to do the same thing, and that doesn't work. So anyway, let's show you how you get wired game controllers connected to a newer Tesla Model Y or Tesla Model 3. So in the center console, like the older cars, there are two USB ports down here, but these are USB-C. So my game controllers had the old larger USB-A ends, and I couldn't plug those in there. So the first thing I did is I went and bought a pair of these little USB-A to USB-C converters, which then allows me to plug that in. But what I'd found is when I'd plug these into the car down there, they still weren't working. Yet a lot of YouTube videos shows you that's the correct way of doing it. But Tesla have now changed the way these ports work on newer vehicles. So while this method works on older vehicles, on the newer vehicles these ports are only used for charging devices and not for interacting with your main screen. So now the only port you can use is the port in the glove box. So if I open the glove box and then put in my pin, there is a USB port there in the glove box which your memory stick plugs into when you're using Sentry mode and the dash cam, and that's where you've got to now plug in the games controllers. So it's actually very difficult to see inside this glove box. Even if you use the torch on your phone, it's still a struggle to see where that USB port is. So the best thing you do is leave the passenger door open and crouch down, and then you can see there is the USB drive that records all your camera images. So you remove that, and we've got a single USB-A port in there. So obviously we can only plug in one games controller if you're using this port, so this is where you need a USB hub. And I bought this one on Amazon, and it's a USB 3 hub, so you've got USB-A there, 3 along the side and 1 at the end. So this one is the USB 3, whereas those are USB 2s. So what I'm going to do is plug in the Tesla drive on the end, like that, and then plug that back in there, which is a lot easier said than done. But anyway, we have now got an additional 3 USB ports there that we can plug in the games controllers. So obviously I can now get rid of my little USB-C adapters on the end and plug that straight into the hub. And there, we've now got a working controller. And of course both work suitable for 2-player games. So on the Tesla it also supports Bluetooth controllers, but I've never used Bluetooth controllers, and to be honest I didn't want the hassle of Bluetooth because I hardly ever play games, and I'd much rather a wired controller that's always going to work and doesn't have a battery that needs charging, because I only play games once every few months or so. These particular ones are Logitech controllers. I'll put a link to them in the video description below if you want to buy these. These are pretty cheap. And also that USB hub there, I bought that on Amazon. That was only $3.99, so I'll put a link to that as well in the video description below. But that will stay in the glove box now all the time with the USB drive in at the end, and then when we need to play, or when we want to play a game should I say, we can just plug these into 2 of the 3 ports on the side. So I hope you found that useful. If you have, please do click the thumbs up button, that really does help. Also subscribe to the channel and ask any questions in the video comments below. And if you want to know more about the Tesla Model Y, have a look at the playlist as well. That's linked below, where you can see other videos, and more are getting added all the time.